Hey there, my fellow YouTubers. This is Cassandra72, and I would like to welcome everyone to the video. And if there are any new subscribers, I would like to welcome them to my channel. So today is Tuesday, December 10th, and I am coming to you with my week 29 update. And then this was shot number 30 for me. It was my first shot of 10 milligram, which I did take in my upper right stomach. And I ended the week at 314.4, which I believe I was sitting at 314 on that Thursday, the 3rd, when I updated you guys. And so I did end up, yeah, zero point 0.4 pounds heavier for by the end of the week. But that still took me to a loss of 2.2 pounds for the week and a total weight loss at that time of 47.2 pounds. All right. Now, I did take my next 10 milligram shot on the 5th, and I took that in my right thigh. And as of this morning, I'm currently down to 313.8, which is only a loss this week so far of 0.6 pounds, which I cannot even really stress about. I am just glad that the scale is trending down. And actually, for the first time, both my Renfo and my Withing scale synced up. So I'm not sure what that's about, because they have been anywhere from a couple of ounces off to up to 2 pounds off. But today, they synced up. So we rolling with a 313.8 all the way around. And so that brings me to a total so far this week of 47.8 pounds since I started the Mounjaro, and 66.5 down from my highest. So that's absolutely amazing. And I'm going to just interject a non-scale victory right here. I guess I actually, for the first time, noticed it. Now I know that the clothes are fitting different and everything, but to me, of course, still being a larger girl, I still sometimes feel like, it's not really it's not really seen, I guess, in a sense, especially since well, what the reason that I was like, okay, I really can now see this. A little bit about me. I sing in a community chorale, and we had our Christmas concert on December the 7th. Now, the little outfits that we wear, that definitely feel a little different. Um, Really, it's the top. That's it for me, because the skirt has been too big when I first started, when I gained whatever I gained. Um, and it's been too big. I mean, cartoonishly too big. It's too long and it's too big. I'm like, I don't know what kind of measurements you guys took, but this right here, this ain't it. But anyway, so I can't really ever tell you about a difference in that, but I can tell you I have, worn it the entire time that I've been a part of this chorale. And it's been loose, it's been tight. Um, and I actually just rejoined back in almost a year ago. Well, no, back in, yeah, I'll say almost a year ago. It's been almost a year ago, because first concert was the spring, back in May, right before I started the meds. And at that time, I was like about yeah, like right at the 360. So, granted, I don't really know these people quite like that. And to be quite honest with you, I go to sing and practice when we practice, not to converse and make friends. It's probably a weird thing to say, but I don't know. It's the introvert in me. Go figure. So no one's really said anything um like in the corral or what have you. And I noticed, of course, when I put on the shirt this time, that it was a lot looser. And so I was happy for that. Now, maybe by the time the spring concert rolls around and I've lost another, say, 30 or so, maybe by then somebody will notice in there as well. But as is the case for me, since I don't really, doll up too much working from home, and I definitely don't, even going to practices. My practices are on Tuesday, which we got a reprieve until January since we just had our concert. So even though that Tuesday is the day for me, I come into work and then I have to go to these practices now. But even still, I get dressed better than working from home. But, makeup and stuff generally doesn't happen. And it wasn't heavy makeup, but I was cute. I may try to insert a picture. But in any event, I got home and I'm like, I took a, well, I go to the concert in the clothing that they want us in, but after the concert, before I even get in my car, I've changed into my street clothes. But anyway, so I get home and I'm like, okay, you cute, let's take a little picture. And then that is when I did my first for real face to face. And this picture, I compared the picture to a picture I took, I don't know, back in, I'm not even sure when the picture was. Um, but I know that it was right around, not even at my highest. I want to say I probably was sitting at about 370 then, compared to the 314, 15, whatever I was on Saturday. And I'm like, I can finally see it in my face. So, yes, I can see it. I can see it. And then I showed my sister in law and my niece. I'm like, think there's a little difference here. And they were like, she was like, oh yeah, I can see it. Because the thing about it is, you see somebody every day and you're not really paying attention, or you don't maybe even remember, you know. And so I think that's a thing for people. Like maybe they don't really want to acknowledge the fact that you've gained all this weight, and then so they didn't really say anything. And then now that you have lost it, it's like maybe they didn't even really realize. But anyway, that's where we are with that. I was really, really happy. Um, really, really happy to notice that. I feel like, hey, I'm back to me. Now, granted, I still have a very long way to go because where I'm sitting at right now was my breaking point once upon a time. This is when I decided that I was gonna look up something on my computer, but I'm gonna look it up on my phone instead. This is when I decided that I was going to join Weight Watchers when I joined it for the first time ever. I distinctly remember thinking, 314, this is not it. This is not it. So I'm sitting at that. And I'm happy to be there now, to be back there. But yeah, now it's like, all right, let's continue to keep it in gear. Um, but looking at that point six right now this week, it's like, are you really in gear? And not really, because I know what it is. I've had sodas all week, and we know sodas will cause you to retain some weight. So I don't know where I'll be in just 2 days, but hopefully by the end of next week, I will be at that 50-pound loss finally. That basically is my goal to end December, and I think I can do it. We have what, 2.5 more weeks left. So, and that's going to be 3 more shots for me. So I think it's doable. I'm only 2.2 pounds away. So that's gonna be that's pretty much my goal. At least I'm gonna say that's the first goal. Let me hit that 2.2 pounds, get down to 50. But that would actually only put me at 311.6. And my goal is really to try to get down to maybe 307, 308. Since I can't get under 300 at this point. I really don't see it unless I'm sick, and I'm not going that route. That's not what I want to do. Um, but one thing I want to talk about also, um, I am still sitting at about 1.6 pound average per week. So it's probably doable that I get down to at least 308, but I'm definitely know that I'm going to hit that 50-pound loss by the end of the year. So that's my goal for that. and I should be under the 300 by the end of January. And then I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I remember that with Weight Watchers, I got down to 290 once upon a time. And that's the lowest I remember being. I can't, not as an adult, but as being on a weight loss journey. And then once I get there, it's basically uncharted territory, weight loss wise, for me. Of course, I've been smaller. I remember being smaller, but yeah, we'll just have to play it by ear from there. So those are my intermediate goals: the 50 pounds, under 300, under 290, and then we'll see. All right, so what I have introduced into my regimen new as of yesterday, because the wonderful people over at BE Transformed shipped so quickly, I have added PM Shred to my regimen, and that is another peptide that is primarily composed of a substance called Smorlin. Now, Smorlin basically helps individuals to normalize their HGH levels and can delay the signs or symptoms of aging. It says they can also enhance their energy, improve muscle mass and strength, and it can also maybe help to metabolize fat more efficiently. And also, some people who have taken it, well, most of the people that I've seen taking it say that they it helps them sleep really well too. So, unfortunately, I was not able to capitalize on getting the another vial of the AM shred when she had it on a sale, because let's just be honest, some of these things are very expensive, and I feel um, like somebody commented on the distributors. Hey, like, hey, I'm gonna go broke with you. You know, she's always running sales or good deals, and it's like, I'm gonna go broke. And she says you got to look at it like you're invested in your health. And, you know, I wasted money on stuff that was far less helpful and even sometimes maybe even detrimental. So I definitely don't mind, spending the money on helping me be a better me. But I just that time I just could not work the AM shred into the budget. But then she ran a sale a few weeks later on the PM shred. And so I said, I'll get that because my AM shred, I'm not out. I think this is going on the fourth week that I've been on that since I started it on November the 18th. So I believe this is my fourth week now using that. And based upon the fact that I did get in the PM shred last night, I was able to take that last night as well. Yeah, I'm into my fourth week of the PM shred. I mean, of the AM shred. So Monday started my fourth week, and so I'm now able to take the PM shred. I got it in time to take it last night before I went to bed, and so this first week of the PM shred also marks my fourth week of the AM shred, and I still have some left. I mean, when it comes in the 10 milliliter vial, but it's not full, and I'm only taking about um, 15 units because I'm trying to make it last because, like I said, it is expensive, but it seems to be doing the job. Um, oh, moment of transparency. In my last video, I talked about how well I had done in just 2 weeks on the on the AM shred. But then I realized you also took a product called Slim X, and I'll have to figure out, tell you about that at a later date when I try to get some more of that. Right now, they're sold out because that was a process because it's 10 milliliters and you take it all at once, and it's supposed to really help basically dissolve fat cells or what have you. And I remember that I started that like October the 28th, and November the 30th, when I did my measurements, that would have been a month later. And they say you're really normally going to see the results about 4 or 5 weeks later. And that would have been 4 or 5 weeks. So I think some of that was the AM shred, but some of it was probably also the Slim X. But anyway, I'll have to test that theory when I get my hands on some more of the Slim X, if I can power through, because that is that was a chore in and of itself because you're injecting all of that at one time. You having to to inject it like 2 centimeters apart or something like that all over the area that you're trying to reduce. And they gave you a larger needle. Well, the needle wasn't in itself wasn't too large, but the it held all of the fluid. But then you were supposed to only inject a certain amount per area. And to me, I couldn't really tell what was going on with the marking on those needles, on that needle. So I'm just like, you know what? I went to my diabetic needles, the ones that I'm using for the other peptides. Excuse me. And it ended up it was a it was a process. It burned. I did get some aspirin to help with that. Whenever I get some more in, I'll be using that. But I had to use, like I said, my regular needles and try to do it that way. And I mean, I was going through some needles because I probably would inject about 3 to 5 times with the needle, and then I would have to pull out another needle because those needles are really single use, and after a while, they're going to hurt anyway if you keep using them over and over again. So, anyway, that's enough of that. But yes, that is something that might have affected those results as well. But I am still excited about the AM shred as well as now the PM shred and seeing what it can do. Now, the PM, they talk about muscle mass in there, and you know, that's got to help when I guess activity comes into play. And I will say that I finally introduced some activity into my life. Not a lot, but back on 12/2, which would have been last week, encompassed last week's update, I did end up pulling out my walking pad and I walked for 8 minutes, 0.3 miles. So it's a little start, but it's a start. And then just the other day, I did a little strength training video, part of a strength training video. And it wasn't much. I only did 6 minutes, but I got through the first segment of what the lady does. I was following Lift with C on YouTube. So I got through the first set of reps and everything that she did. So I'm not mad about it. I'm finally starting from somewhere. Because at this point, I feel like I'm starting at ground zero. Like, yeah, your girl has lost 47 pounds, but she's still heavy. And yeah, so things are a little bit of a, can be a little bit of a struggle, but I also know that I do have to push myself because really and truthfully, I'm smaller than I ever was when I was working out at the gym all the time. I think I had when I first started working out at the gym when I was going all the time, I was at 349 and then I had lost down to 330. Now I've lost another 16 pounds on top of that. I really should be able to go in and knock some stuff out now, but also that was 8 years ago. So older people's bodies and strength and stuff is a little different when you're just starting out. And I'm not saying that I probably couldn't be as strong as 45-year-old me, but yeah, 52-year-old me right now is hitting a little different. But yeah, um, and then I'll go ahead and just end with another NSV that I've experienced, and that is that I got some more shirts in. My favorite company is in Live. They had a sale where they had 5 t-shirts for $35, and so I went in and I purchased some shirts. I think I might have talked about that in the last video, but I just got them in yesterday. And so I ended up with 4 shirts and this dress, which non-scale victory. When I put it on this morning, my daughter was like, "Oh, you look cute." Okay, coming from a 19-year-old, I love that. So this dress was also a part of the options that I could choose. So I ended up with this dress, which is a 3X, which should have been my size, but um the one that came in my box way back when, while it fit, it was, well, I could get it on, it was tight. And now, of course, it's no longer tight. And so when I saw this one, I said, yeah, let me go ahead and grab that because I do have a lot of the t-shirts. I mean, a lot of t-shirts. I've been a member, of that, getting those boxes since 2018. So anytime I can switch up and get something I don't have, I like to do that. I did get a couple of the shirts that I ordered were just shirts that were in a smaller size since I started the box and that could stand to be replaced. So I did that. And then another two that I got were just I thought were really cute, but they only came in. Now I was in a 3X and now I'm in a 2X with the shirts. And so the shirts that I replaced were in a 2X, and then the newer ones, they were they didn't have it, I think, in the regular unisex 2X. So, well, the one shirt anyway. So I got that in a ladies 2X. And then the other shirt actually came from like their teen box. But some of the well, some of the ladies like, getting the teen boxes as well. And then some of the teens are on the larger size. So their boxes go up to like a ladies 2X a lot of the time. And so this particular shirt was from a teen box actually. And I got that in a ladies 2X as well, which was the largest it came in. And all the shirts fit. Of course, the unisex 2X fit better, but I wasn't mad at the ladies 2X, which is coming a long way because when I first started this box, I called myself thinking, okay, ladies fit 3X, and those shirts were too tight to the point where I would not go anywhere with those things on. These shirts last night are just they fitted, probably a little bit more fit than I would normally want to do, but I'm not looking like a busted can of biscuits. So major non-scale victories all the way around. And with that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this video because I did not have a long time to slip this in here. I'm actually getting ready to step out of this office and go home for the remainder of the day in about 10 more minutes. So yeah, that's all I have time for today. But if you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, until the next video. Peace and blessings.